from the loft of the Caskey Lodge in Kalkaska, Michigan, it's the Rollsreece podcast. And here he is, Rollsreece!
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rollsreece podcast. I am Rollsreece. Thanks for joining me on this very special edition here. But before we get to that, I just again like to thank all my listeners and subscribers for tuning in. I know the Hangover special was a bit lackluster, but that's the reality of Rollsreece and my life living in a janitor's closet. That's just how it is, and it's not always fun and games, but I made the most of it, and I appreciate everyone's comments. Gabe Nagy, Ben, I don't know, Papa Preaches. Earlier on, he did some comments. I appreciate some follow-up. And then Allison Godin, thanks for commenting every time. No, I will not put pictures of the janitor's closet online. I appreciate you wanting to see that, but I'm not going to do that. I'm a very private person. So anyway, like I said earlier, this is a very special edition of the Rollsreece podcast. This is the special Mother's Day edition. And I thought, who better to have as a guest on the Mother's Day edition than my own mother, Cindy Collins. Thank you very much, Mom. I'm just putting the name out there, but I'm just going to refer to you as Mom. The name's out there. From now on, it's Mom.
Okay.
Thank you for being here. This hour. Actually, you're hosting me here on the shores of Lake Nicollet, which is technically part of the St. Mary's River, right?
Yeah, we're so excited you came up, Reese.
Oh, well, hey.
Is it Rollsreece?
Yeah, Rollsreece, Royce,
Royce,
some people
Royce
call
Reece.
And, these freighters go by every now and then. One's going by right now. And every now and then, if you're lucky, you can get up to hear, the call of the freighter, one's going. Wow. I can't believe you get to experience
the hello
that.
signal. Oh, I don't know what that one is.
I think that has something to do. I don't know. It sounded like they were kind of doing it just for us. I was holding the mic up there for a second, so
right.
We don't need to hear their entire.
They're close by. Our property.
To me, it looks like there's a skyscraper going by out front, especially at night, because all you see is this long chain of lights.
Yeah.
Now you guys have a book that details all these different ships. And so you've probably gotten to know a lot of these ships.
Well, we've been living here almost 5 years, so you do get to learn a lot of the ships.
Do you have your favorites? Shout out. If any freighter captains are listening.
The American Spirit is my favorite.
American Spirit.
Yes.
Now, are they all ore hauling or?
I think a lot of them are ore, cement, dolomite.
Dolomite.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Well,
so
cool.
All kinds of stuff. We get a lot of tugs, barges. Before the pandemic, we had cruise ships going by, and those were neat. Gary would be out mowing the grass, and people would be hanging over the balcony, and we're all waving to them, and they're having a great time. But after the pandemic hit, of course, that all stopped.
Yeah, exactly. It is an amazing effect that these ships have on just the shoreline, because it's like a tsunami effect. People don't realize that as these ships are approaching, depending on where you are on the river, the water goes out, much like a tsunami. When it builds, the water level goes down. So all of a sudden you see the water go down about a foot, and you're going, okay, what's next? And then a big rush of water comes in after it.
It's
much like a
tsunami.
It's an amazing thing to see.
I've been out there in my kayak, just starting to get in the kayak, and the ship would be going by, and it's sucking my kayak out, and I'm holding on for dear life. And then all of a sudden, this great big wave comes and hits you again. So I learned my lessons not to get in the water when they go by.
Right, and over the past year or two, there wasn't a huge problem with that because the water levels were up. But now you're kind of seeing it more, that the water levels are down. Thank goodness.
Oh yeah, they're down. You've seen that today when we walked out where our boathouse was,
right.
And they're down 1.5 feet.
Right.
It's crazy.
And it's definitely a regional thing as far as, if you live in the Sioux, that's something you think about. That's something you notice,
Right.
Hey, my property's eroding, or all of a sudden, hey, now I got a beach,
Yeah.
It's just weird how it changes from year to year like that. But you guys have been living here for how long now?
About 5 years.
Yeah.
But, we've lived on a lot of lakes, and we've sold all the Great Lakes. I've sold Lake Erie.
Well, I should just mention that my mom is a real estate agent. You've been doing it for how many years?
40.
40 years.
40.
Not
yes.
many in the business have more experience than this person right here. My mom, she's always been, I couldn't do it. I couldn't be a real estate genius. But she's been doing it for 40 years, and I'm just proud to know her. And I've always known that when I go to buy a house, you're going to be there to give me the deal. You got my back. So Rollsreece, like I say, I'm living in this janitor's closet. Help has been offered. I'm trying to make my own way. My mom could have me out of that janitor's closet and into maybe a 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom walk up in Kalkaska.
I can get you into a home with hardly any money down.
And not
amazing.
Just me either.
Well,
I just want to let people know.
People that have decent credit, you don't need a lot of money down. There's all kinds of federal programs out there that get people in. You can, if you're a veteran, it's 0 down. That's amazing for veterans. That's pretty cool. There's great programs for veterans to buy a home.
Yeah. So. Now, where have you mainly done? Where did you get your start in real estate? Where did you start?
I started in Oregon, Ohio.
Okay.
It's right outside.
Everyone's heard of that. Everyone knows right where that's at.
Well, right south of Toledo. They were neighboring towns.
Yeah.
But started there with Grogan Realty, and did real well. And then when we moved up to Elk Rapids.
And what year was that?
That was 1984.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The early 80s.
84, 85. Yeah.
That's kind of when my memory starts forming in life. You
guys were, I think, around.
I was
6 or 7.
So yeah, I do remember moving up north. Toledo is, that area growing up. I don't have a lot of memory of. I do remember some of it, but not a ton of it.
Mm-hmm.
But we also lived on a lake there as well.
We lived on Lake Erie, and we had these huge rocks, and you guys would go out there and climb those rocks.
Yes, I talked about that in the podcast with Dad, where we lived there, and you could. There were these tunnels that if you were a little kid, you could go almost, to me, maybe it was 100 yards. It was probably like a couple hundred feet. But all these little tunnels connected Creepy Vine, Marblehead. We had names for all of them. Yeah. And I do remember getting reckless out there and coming in crying to you one day with a bloody forehead. Every now and then, Rollsreece would make a mistake in life.
The emergency room.
I've only made 10,000 mistakes. That was probably like number 4 or 5, in life. So that was really bad.
You guys, you were adventurous.
Yeah. Oh, if it wasn't me with a cut forehead, it was Bri with a cut cheek. My brother Bri.
I was in the emergency room all the time when you were. It seemed like you guys were falling off your bikes. You had jumps going, with your bikes and
getting burned by things.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, hey, you we're risk takers.
Boys will be boys. I guess.
I remember, your mom who just passed away, and God rest Grandma.
I'm going
she was just a
next
wonderful
week
person.
To her memorial.
To another memorial, and she was always talking about. I would hear you and her, or I would overhear her talking to someone else. I don't know how she handles those kids. I guess we were just a menace back then.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not proud of it, but I got to do what I got to do.
I've heard stories because we had that log home right on Elk Lake there. As soon as I would leave, you guys would move the furniture and have
That's right.
ropes.
American Gladiators is what we were trying to recreate.
From the loft swinging through the cathedral ceilings.
Yes, if you can imagine this, folks, we had beams that went across our living room, perfect for hanging ropes, much like the American Gladiators set on USA Network at the time.
It was a big cathedral ceiling with logs.
Yeah, and we would hang from the beams and swing into each other and try and knock each other off a chair.
See, I never knew that until you guys finally spelling little things.
Well, there is
as
the
you got
famous
older.
video of you coming home and walking towards, because we videotaped these, and walking towards the camera, and then there was just static. So I'm guessing we got into trouble. We caught some static that day. But yeah, we were definitely a rambunctious crew of kids. But yeah, you wrangled us pretty good, and you taught us pretty good work ethic.
Ask you, did you ever find that video of when you and I think it was Chad doing Ice Ice Baby? Doing Ice Ice Baby? That video?
No.
I remember that.
No, I don't.
I think you guys were about.
Well, I remember
11.
going, hey. I was asking you, do you have any of those? And you're like, yeah, I have those. So you have some of them.
I have to go look.
But
have boxes, so.
I think like when I was like in my 20s and stuff, when I was asking them, that's probably right not to give it to me. I would have just watched them. But
Right.
now that they're 25 years old, 30 years old, I would take care of them. I have a
You
VCR.
did a pretty good Ice Ice Baby dance.
That,
right
hey.
into the camera.
My moves were ice cold from the
right.
get-go. But now, we mentioned this earlier, originally from the Toledo area. Did you grow up in Toledo?
I grew up in Erie, Michigan.
Okay.
And came from a family of 6 kids, staunch Catholics.
Mhm.
I mean, we had to go to church.
I've been to those masses.
Yeah, every
I
Sunday.
remember going to one midnight mass and saying never
made my
again,
first
because
communion.
it lasted from midnight to
Right.
the midnight of the next day.
Yeah.
It was 24 hours.
Yeah, I went to school. I went to the Catholic school in Erie, and I was probably one of the victims of the nuns slapping the.
Oh, they would beat you back then.
Oh
huh?
my goodness, they had that. They'd walk around with that, yardstick, and they'd hit your desk if you weren't paying attention or whatever. I mean, they wouldn't physically hit you, but they would just kind of. It was very
They'd
intimidating.
make you jump.
Huh? Oh my gosh, yeah.
So would they do that to you? Maybe if you had hiccups, maybe they're just trying to help you.
I don't know.
They just giving you a quick
Possibly, yeah.
scare. Like, oh, okay, she's back.
So, anyways,
So
then I went to Mason.
Were any of the
and-
nuns nice? Or were they
yeah,
all
I'm not gonna
terrifying?
say- no, they.
Because all I've ever heard stories is these nuns were terrifying.
They
Get
were,
me out.
to little kids. I mean, when you're little, these people have this uniform on, and it's covering their face, and it's kind of scary.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, they look scary, and but anyways, they were nice. I mean, but they were very strict. I mean, that's why I guess parents sent their kids there.
And how many did your whole brothers and sisters? How many brothers? How many sisters?
I have 4 brothers. My brother Bill, who passed away in December.
God rest his soul.
And he's going to be at my mom. We're including him in the memorial.
Okay, great.
Because we didn't get to do anything, obviously, with him. And then my brother Tom lives in Stratford, Connecticut, and he's lost his wife to cancer and his son to an automobile accident.
Yeah, and they are just amazing people.
And
I mean,
he's got a very positive attitude. I talk to him
gotta be
every week.
resilient.
Yeah, he
Yes.
is. He's very resilient.
not a lot of people go through much more than that. I mean, I think
No,
we can say
I
that.
know. It's sad, but he does so much volunteer work. He really has put his energies back into that.
Yeah, helping the
so-
people.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, you can
know.
only respect it. And,
Wonderful. And then I have my brother Steve. They live down in the Temperance, Michigan area, and we're going to be staying with them while we're at the memorial. And then I have a brother Jeff down there in Toledo.
Yep, yep.
And then my sister Lisa.
Oh,
So,
amazing. I mean, and so you guys all went to this Catholic school.
I went up to 7th grade. My brothers went through it, but then they closed the school. So the rest of the kids, we all had to go to public schools.
Then none of you were going there. None of you.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, stick with me on the Rollsreece
Yeah.
podcast here. We have fun.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we always have fun.
Oh, we got another freighter. Hold on a second. Let's see if we can hear. They always kind of do like a signal horn when they come through. This is just that kind of area. It's off in the distance. I know it's kind of hard to hear for the listeners at home. So that was it for him. So yeah, we're here right on the St. Mary's River in the heart of it, and this shipping season is underway. Is there any news about that as far as, is it busier than a normal year because they were kind of held back by COVID?
Well,
or
it's been pretty busy.
I mean, I know you're not a shipping authority.
I mean, it seems like since we had such a mild winter, that they were, the locks, of course, didn't open till March 25th, and they were in line waiting. I mean, because the river was free of ice. We've had such a mild winter up here in Sault Ste. Marie, and so we didn't have all that extremely cold weather that we normally get.
Yeah.
So I think that probably maybe jump-started the ship.
I couldn't imagine a better place to spend a quarantine. That's for sure. I mean, you guys, it's just amazing. I love coming up here.
We are blessed. And I don't take this for granted, not one.
No,
day.
I just want to let it be known to all of our audience.
Yeah.
Very hard work, long hours. You have
Yeah.
no freaking idea.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I've come up here on a holiday or a vacation, she's on the phone with my mom's on the phone with a client, a customer, sending off emails, whatever kind of paperwork.
Oh yeah.
There's always a little bit of time where that has to get done. You're never really off the. I think, and everyone out there is a real estate agent. You know what we're talking about, right? I mean.
Oh yes.
Everyone's in the same boat,
The real estate industry is a lot of people don't really understand how much more involved it is than just putting up a sign
and
taking pictures. I mean, we spend hours doing computer work to make our listings look great.
Yeah.
Sending out social media ads on our listings, and
we're back. Okay.
Everything we can, to make it a smooth transaction for the client and to make sure everybody's happy.
Yeah.
So I really think that a lot of people don't realize that, we're there
what's going on behind the scenes. You make a couple calls, you get the right document signed. That's all there is, right? Geez.
No,
if only you knew.
We work on, from start to finish on one deal, I would say we put in probably 40 hours just from start to finish.
Yeah.
From a listing to a sale to the closing. I mean, there are so many documentations that need to be signed, and the inspections, the appraisals.
Is it the same paperwork as 40 years ago?
Oh my goodness, no.
What was it like without getting into a bunch of details, was it like the Wild West back then?
One sheet of paper, and it had the sale price, how you're going to buy it, how much you're putting in escrow, and you signed your name, and that was it.
Wow. So it was like a carbon paper.
Like 15 pages of paperwork that we have to do.
Oh, geez.
And then if something changes in the contract, then you're doing an addendum to, correct whatever.
Oh my gosh. That would be kind of, tough to get used to through the years. I remember having some jobs where things changed and, more and more rules. And pretty soon you're just going, is this even worth it anymore? I'm spending more time doing the paperwork than actually getting this house sold,
Yeah, I guess it's a love-hate relationship. And I love it.
Yeah.
I have loved selling real estate. I meet very interesting people. I go in really neat homes.
Yeah.
And I get to see all kinds of beautiful scenery.
Bought a few of those homes.
Well, yes. That's true.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if there's a deal to be found, hey, it doesn't hurt to be a real estate agent and being right on the front lines of, whoa, look at this. This is.
Yes. That is one benefit.
I mean, when you go and look for property or buy a house for yourself, just the smartest thing to do, you're looking for the deal. You don't just go, oh, I'm going to go for the,
That's not true. After we got an offer on our Buffalo Ranch up here.
They had a Buffalo Ranch, how long ago?
It was about maybe 10 years ago.
And we'll go into that a little later, but go ahead.
But anyways, when we got an offer on that, I'm dragging Gary through all these, and Gary's my husband, And
Yep, Gary, my stepdad, just a hello to him. And he's always been a great host every time I've came up here.
Yeah.
And he's just taking it easy today and just enjoying the views
But-
and these ships going by.
yeah, but we ended up, there was nothing available. And so I'm calling all the other real estate offices asking, do you have a one-party listing? Which means, if they have somebody that knows that they want to sell their home. And one of our brokers was in the office one day and he said, oh, I have a lady, she's thinking of selling. I says, well, could I have the address? And we drove by it and we said, can we get in it the next day? Got in the next morning and made the offer and bought it. I mean, that's how quick it was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we gave her what she wanted because we wanted the house.
Yeah.
We wanted it. We did not want to lose it.
So, I mean, what you're saying is, hey, there is a little bit of an emotional value to some of these places where it's like, you just got to want it, right? I mean,
right.
And then if you want it, then it is worth it. It is.
Absolutely. And, if you want something and you really put your mind to it, you can get
As
it.
long as
You
people
can
aren't
achieve
preying
that.
upon that and going, oh, look at this person, they really want it. Ching, ching, and then, you jack up the rate.
In today's market, it's a seller's market. The sellers are getting way over asking price.
Yeah.
They're happy.
Yeah,
The
I mean, as
sellers are
long as
happy.
everyone ends up with something, I guess that's what it's all about.
The
for sure.
buyers are happy. The sellers are happy. I mean,
Yeah.
so.
Now you were down in Toledo, and then so what happened? You decided to come up north. Now, when you decided to come up north, were you thinking, all right, I can do some major real estate up there?
No.
You weren't
No,
thinking
your-
anything about the real estate market up
Your
here?
father wanted to move up there, and
Okay.
we start looking at cabins, that kind of stuff, not thinking we were going to get a resort,
Yeah.
and got the resort, and turned it around.
Now, what was it originally called? What was this place originally called?
Keewaydin Motel.
And you guys came up with actually a snappier name. Now, what was that name?
Keewaydin Lakeshore Lodge.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so and you got
Because it was right on Elk Lake. It was right on the shores of Elk Lake.
yes,
And it looked lodgy. I mean, the original part of the lodge there, it was in a horseshoe or a U-shaped, I would say, that had motels on one side and then cabins on the
Yes.
other. It looked like, and they were all connected.
and it was kind of like a 1960.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was like a
No,
vintage.
it's 1950.
Well, I mean
type.
the place up, 50s, I guess.
Yeah.
Even the main house that was eventually had to be torn
Tore
down.
down, right.
It kind of, I don't even remember the signage it had out there. It almost seems like that one time they had the neon and all that out there.
They did have the neon.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It was the original, the 1940, 1950s look.
Yeah.
And
And it was probably a popular place for a long
I'm sure
time. I mean, it
because-
was popular when you owned it, and I know
yeah,
that.
Yeah, but of course we did a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we really did more to entice people to come back. We did a Sunday breakfast free to anybody.
I remember that every
to
Sunday.
anybody. Every Sunday, we would make pancakes on the grill, sausage, coffee, juice, rolls. It was fun, and we had the pavilion there that everybody sat underneath, and a lot of them got to be, oh, I went to school with you. I remember.
Oh, wow.
It was kind of like some reunions going on there.
That's kind of amazing because
That's-
it's weird how. I mean, were you guys marketing in the Toledo area, or where were these people coming from?
We had some Toledo people that would come up that knew us.
How are you marketing?
And then my cousins start coming up, and they were bringing all their friends, and people would just book like a year ahead of time.
Yep.
I mean, we closed in October because it wasn't winterized,
Right.
and then opened again, I think April, May,
And I happen to remember there was some kind of a process of winterizing that wasn't.
Well, we had Mike. I'm trying to think.
Well, it's hard to
did us.
remember 30 years ago.
Yeah, Mike and I'll think of it.
Yeah.
But Mike Steffen.
Oh, yeah. And he's
He
still
would-
great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he would come and winterize it.
That's
for us.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Mike and Sherry Steffen
yeah.
did a lot of work with
Yeah.
you guys.
Oh, yeah,
Because
they were
not
great.
only that, you
Nice
got up
people.
here. Well, let's first talk about that. You had the lodge.
Mm-hmm.
The original house, how long did that last?
Well, it didn't last long because there was the gas station across the street had leaked gasoline, and it had came underneath the lodge, so the state fire marshal shut the whole thing down.
That's
and
right.
Made all that dirt and everything had to be excavated and hauled away.
And you're not even joking about all the dirt. They had to dig a pit.
Yes.
I was all the way. I was almost. Was it below lake level? I mean,
It was a very deep pit that had, because they were afraid it was going to leak into Elk Lake. And so
that's right. And then there just happened to be, coincidentally, before that lodge was there was a sawmill there. And
Oh,
they
that's
say,
right. I forgot about
from
that.
what I understood at the time, is that just there was so much sawdust in the ground, just in the soil, it kind of prevented the gas from really getting into the lake. It was just a lucky break.
You're right, yeah.
And they didn't even have to tear down the cabins or the units or anything.
No, they did the house, and the house was replaced.
Yeah.
And so it was a nice home,
And it was actually on the parade of homes at one time. From what I
Yes.
remember, we had to leave. You're like, we got to leave. These people are going to be walking through our house with booties on. We're going, what?
I just came across that the other day. They had gave us the artist sketch
Oh, nice.
of the lodge, and when you were on the parade of homes, and so I just came across it. I'll
I
have
would
to
hold
find
on to
it.
that because that's not there anymore. I mean, they've got a very nice
That's-
pavilion and stuff. I like what they've done with it. You know,
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's something for everybody now.
Right.
Because everyone was trying to use our bathroom. I know that coming off the lake, and my kid go to the bathroom because we had a public access and I don't know if anyone's seen the movie Summer Rental with John Candy, where everyone's walking right next to their house going
Yes.
down to the lake.
Yes, that
I
was-
recommend this movie, but we were living it every summer. I mean, we'd have people knocking on, my daughter has to go to the bathroom and it's not number one. And we're going, oh, geez,
Well, we were always happy to help people.
And a
So,
lot of times you did. Now,
Yeah.
so now we've got this house built and, the new lodge, and it's beautiful. It's on the parade of homes, doing great business. Now, did you have the store before or after the house was done? Because now there's a store across the street.
Yeah, it was.
The gas
It was
station and
called
store.
the Picnic Basket, and so every morning I'd sit in my office at the lodge, and after you guys went to school, and get my paperwork and stuff done, and I'd see all these cars pulling into the picnic basket, and it wasn't open.
Only game in town.
And I mean, they'd go in, and sometimes if he felt like opening at 8, he would. If he wanted to come in at 10 or 11, he would. And so I'm observing all this. Well, anyways, I had questioned him if he wanted to.
That's a pretty irregular business model, right? I
That
mean, what
was
is this
very
guy
bad.
doing over here? Come on.
Well, he was up north. He had that.
And it's weird to think about that being very far north now, because it's really not anymore.
But I
Trevor.
mean, for when we were down in Ohio,
Right.
Ohio, it was up north. But they just had that I don't care attitude. Hey, people, there's a lot of people that are very free spirits, and they don't care.
Now, what was
it's
his
on
name?
Their term. Vern.
Vern, that's
yeah,
right.
Vern. Yeah. So, anyways, I ended up buying it. It was a long process, but we got it. We got the liquor license to go with it.
And so now you got a lodge and you got a store.
Mm-hmm.
What other business was in town there?
There wasn't.
I
The Oasis Bar.
So you own 2/3 of the town at this point.
That's. Hey, we had Santa Claus coming on a fire truck, the Keewaydin fire truck at Christmas
Yeah.
time. Barry, I'm trying to think of
Cook,
his name.
Barry Cook, he's
Cook,
passed
yeah.
away. He was
Oh,
he
no.
was just a great guy to the end.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
remember
he-
you talked to him on the phone one time. I saw him at a bike night down at
Yeah.
the Oasis.
Yeah.
And he always just said, your mom was just very nice to me, as far as, just, I was the Santa Claus guy, and all this
He
stuff.
was, and
he had
Sherry,
kids and stuff.
who managed the store for me, she knew Barry, and
Yeah.
so that's how we got to know Barry. But he was the perfect Santa Claus, and Sherry would dress up as Mrs. Claus.
Yes.
And the Keewaydin fire
I believed
truck
it. I wasn't sure. I remember the
would
first
come
time, I was
in,
like,
and
I
we
wasn't
take
sure.
Polaroid pictures of the kids with Santa Claus, give them candy. I mean, and
He was
then
great, and even
we had a
growing up,
buck
he was nice to me.
pole there during hunting.
That's right. You guys
Yeah.
had a big hunting.
Yeah, in fact, Gary, my husband now,
Yeah.
he's the one that suggested it. That
It was a great idea. I
yeah,
mean,
because he hunted. But the funny thing is, he won the first year. He won a couple $100, I think.
he must have had a premonition, like, hey, the year I suggest a buck pull, I think is the year I'm going to
He
win
had the
this thing.
biggest buck and the horns and the whole 9 yards.
It is, hey, you're out there, you
Yeah.
put in the work, you work the freaking
Right.
trails, you get the biggest deer, I mean, and I just for my people listening out there, I am going to be doing a hunting episode. I know nothing about hunting, not good at it, don't have the patience for it. But you know what? I don't mind talking about some amazing hunting stories, so we will be doing that.
Well, I hunt
And-
it,
Yes,
I
and
had a really nice hunting blind on my.
you were out there every year.
Gary had this hunting blind. I called it my.
No,
condo
wait a minute.
hunting
We're leaping
blind.
forward here a little bit.
Oh.
Let's. So you were
Oh.
down here. You had the lodge, and eventually you're just like, it's not working out. So you decide to move to the UP. Flash forward, you were doing real estate around here, and you're like, we got to find a new market. You're with Gary, you met
Right.
him, and you guys decide, hey, we got to move north. But you don't just move north. What do you move on to? It's a 40-acre.
Well, we bought 40 acres. We started our Remax office in Cedarville.
Okay.
And so we were doing great, but we didn't have a place to live. We had some property on Lake Huron that we were going to build on. And of course, we got so busy in real estate, we did not have time to even think about taking on a project like that. So we found this home on 40 acres. It was one owner, and she's a famous author up here in the UP.
She got a name. She got some
Sue
titles.
Harrison.
Sue Harrison.
Yes,
Okay. And what'd she
and-
wrote?
She's wrote several books. She's
Oh,
in-
I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
I
Sue,
know it.
nothing personal.
Yeah.
She loves the books.
Yeah, I've read all her books. They're
Sue,
great.
I know you're listening.
Yeah, but anyways, so she wrote her books at this home, and they had moved on to Manasquan Bay, which is up here in the UP.
Okay.
Built a log home there. So we bought this house on 40 acres, and Gary decided he wanted.
At this point, this is not a ranch of any kind.
No,
There is no fencing.
None. My
This
husband
is
did
a 40-acre
everything.
wilderness.
My husband did everything. He built the barns. He did everything. I mean, he did the fences, you name it. But he wanted buffalo, and we first started. He wanted
Let's just examine that. We gotta get some buffalo. Some of the most giant. They're almost like a dinosaur.
Well-
I just want to point this out to people.
Yeah.
To decide to have these things, you gotta be kind of like, yes, I got grit.
Well,
I've got what it takes
it-
to raise these
it-
things, because you gotta be tough.
you do.
These aren't easy.
No, I had one chase me.
They're
And
terrifying.
I was terrified, yes. But anyways, we started out with feigning goats. And
I remember those goats. Love them.
Yeah, you'd scare them and they fall over. And,
Yeah, they just went stiff and fell right over.
Yeah, and then they get up and they were eating the flowers again.
Well, they're pygmy
So-
goats, so they're always. It's like
Well,
those.
they were pretty small goats.
They were small goats,
Yeah.
and they would come up to you, and they had their little bleats. They do,
Yeah.
and it was just I loved seeing them. You know what I mean? They're just
I have
they're
great
just like.
pictures of you with them.
Oh yeah, I mean my brother and I were in a couple of these pictures where we're feeding them, and then they would get older, and you're feeding them, and all of a sudden you feel something tugging at your sleeve, it's the goats eating your sleeve. They really, I mean, I know they always joke about they're eating tin cans, all this. No, not that, but they will eat your clothes.
Oh, yes, yeah.
They love that kind of thing.
So then we got buffalo. We started out with 5, and then Gary decided he wanted more. And I mean, I'd come back from a showing and there'd be more buffalo out there.
Yes.
And I go, what's going on? Why are we getting all these buffalo? And then of course you had to start doing the pens, and the pastures weren't cheap. I mean,
yes,
you had to
the
get,
pens and the pastures and that, you had to separate them.
Yeah, you had to have high tensile fencing.
And these things, the crazy thing is that if you were just on one side of the fence and they were on the other, they would come up to you and they would tolerate you. You know,
Gary walked among them. I mean, he was touching their nose, and they liked him. Of course, he fed them, and but yeah, you just didn't want to be out there unless you had a tractor
yeah, so you
by
turn your
you or
back on them.
something.
Now they're all of a sudden in attack mode for some reason.
Yeah. Oh, they'll attack you.
But and then there were generations born out there, or did you always bring it? So there were calves born there of these buffalo.
And they're orange when they're little. They come out. They're an orange color. They're so cute.
Now, is there a protective instinct for these things? I mean, when the calves are born or whatever,
the whole
do you
herd,
even try and go near them?
No, you don't want to do that. But the whole herd are like the aunts and uncles and grandparents, and I mean, they all protect them. We've seen them all in a circle, and all the babies were right in the middle there. And
wow! So they form a ring around of defense.
Yes, they did this. I mean, we've seen really unique things that people don't normally see. And of course, we adjoined 5,700 acres of state land.
Right, you were surrounded by it.
We were surrounded by it.
And every now and then, maybe a bear would come out of the woods, or maybe something like that would happen.
We had in our orchard 3 cubs, and they were up climbing the apple trees.
Bear cubs.
Bear cubs, yeah.
Oh,
we've had wolf. We've had coyotes. We've seen sandhill cranes that come back every year.
And then you had those turkeys for a while.
Turkeys galore.
The most interesting one to me was the deer that had broke its jaw, and its jaw was almost completely to the side.
We fed her by hand.
There are pictures of this deer with the jaw. Imagine.
I know what we kept her alive.
It was the Rocky Balboa of deer.
I would say 3 winters we kept her alive. We just would feed her soft food.
Yeah, and it was living off this bread. I mean, that was high quality bread.
Yeah.
That deer was, well, it also had an advantage too, because it would come right up to your back door. The other deer were afraid. It's like, well, guess what? There's bread up here. So I'll get that, and you get whatever you eat.
Broken jaw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, I mean, that happens in nature. I mean, and really, it's still kind of up in the air. Was it hit by a car? Was it, attacked by a bear? Did it just happen to fall onto something? Who knows?
Yeah.
And that was a really wild area. I had a great time. You guys had like a tractor, and you actually bought one of those like cherry tour carts, like we tour a cherry orchard in.
It was
like a 6-seat.
It was like a trolley.
It was a little trolley.
Gary found it.
And we go on tours around this, and I was like, hey, I've seen this tour a million times, but hey, I'm on board, why not? I'll take a trolley. Because it took about, I don't know, a half hour if you did it right. And
and he had that Farmall tractor he had restored. That was just a really neat tractor. But he had his big Kubota, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a big one.
And then we could shoot guns out there. You could shoot bow, whatever you wanted to do. I remember bringing my gun up there, and we did some target shooting.
Blinds
But ultimately, it just got to be, all right, what are we really doing here, right? I mean, is this the dream, or what led? Because I know you guys kind of started dialing back on that, and to the point of where you eventually moved away.
A different point, There's some health issues, but got those straightened out. But it was time to do something different. And I've always been a big kayaker.
Okay, yeah.
I've been kayaking, Gary and I have been kayaking all over. I mean, we went up to the Two-Hearted, we kayaked the whole Asabo, went through over all the portages, clear out to Lake Huron, in north of East Tawas there. And we've kayaked up in Canada on the rivers up there. Probably most of the Great Lakes we've kayaked.
That's great. And just kind of toting it around in the back of a pickup truck and getting up there.
This was a good opportunity for us to make a decision, so I can just go right out my front door and kayak.
Yeah.
And I do, and I love it.
But it wasn't easy necessarily letting go of that 40 acres either. I mean, how long were you there for?
16 years.
I mean, that's a long time.
A long time, yeah.
With the buffalo and the ranch and all that stuff.
Right.
And I can't remember, was that pole barn there, or did you guys build
No, we built that.
And then you built a barn.
Yeah.
You know, you had all this fencing up. I mean, a lot of grooming into that property that you guys did.
My husband worked hours.
That's a lot of work.
Hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
You know,
that was
his dream, though. I mean, he always loved the farm.
Yeah.
He grew up on a farm, and always loved it.
It's an intoxicating lifestyle. I mean, just being up there myself, kind of vacation, I was like, I could live here.
You know, the grandkids tell us that the best times were at the farm.
Yeah.
They loved it.
Well, this is amazing. I'm not going to let... when we had the reunion, what was it, 2 summers ago now?
Yeah.
You know, with just Charity and Lee and all the kids, and you know, just everyone was here, and we're going out in the pontoon though. And I remember the cornhole tournament, and every win, it was just amazing to just run to the edge of the yard and dive in the lake. I mean, you know, it's something I hadn't had in a long time. So that's a cool thing. You know what I mean?
It's people think because we live on a river, we don't have sand. It's
a sandy bottom.
It's hard sand.
How wide is it here? This is technically called Lake Nicolette, right?
Yeah, yes. That's Sugar Island across there. And it's probably maybe around close to 2 miles.
Yeah, and it definitely looks, I mean, it is a lake. I mean, people water ski out here.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a little surreal. I mean, if you're out there water skiing, here comes a freighter that's, 100 yards long, or get out of the way, you know.
Yeah.
And, it's just great. I mean, actually, here comes one right now. Hold on a second. Let's see if we can get a little glimpse of their signal honk. Let's see if we can hear something here. Amazing.
That's the hello. 1 long and 2 short means hello.
Amazing. Wow. It's cool.
So
I mean,
said hello.
I just want to say that they don't have to deal with this day and night. The boats don't honk just in front of their house.
No, they don't.
What I'm guessing is going on is there's some little kids out front that they're just entertaining by honking.
They do that.
The little kids go out there and do the horn honk thing.
They'll do that.
They don't, this isn't, I know earlier I kind of indicated this is a point they have to signal horn. No, they do it for the kids.
I think Ricky's really amazed about these.
All right, here's what you don't know, folks. And because he has a refusal to be on mic, but Ricky did come up here with me, and, I've got a lot of equipment here. And I was like, Ricky, I need your help. Come up. Of course, you're not getting paid. And I don't want to hear anything from you about this. Just shut up and do your job, Ricky. And so then I got up here and I'm kind of talking to him like that. And it turns out my mom is a big defender of Ricky, thinks he's doing a great job, even though he won't get on the freaking microphone. And you've been a little upset with me about my treatment of Ricky. What's going on here?
I think the first
He's an employee. He's not an employee.
You were just yelling at him all the time. And I said, you're yelling at Ricky too much.
Ricky, if you say I yelled at you too much, I'm going to yell at you. No. I think, and really what, I'm not going to lie. I talked to my mom about this, and the truth is I have not yelled at Ricky a lot. Not as much. But
That's since I told you not to yell at me
yes,
so much.
I was like, you know what? I probably shouldn't be. I got to treat people with respect. I was raised right. I was raised the right way. My mom always instilled, the right attitude into me. So I mean, Ricky,
think
I'm
you
sorry,
turned out
but Ricky,
okay.
you're also kind of freaking lazy, Ricky. So I'm trying. That's why I brought him. I was like, listen, he can carry bags. He can do all the physical labor. He can go buy the beer. He can drive us around when we're drunk. Because this is the Mother's Day podcast, but we're going to be going out and having some fun too. And Ricky's driving. It's kind of like a limo service. So, people, my mom and Gary are fully vaccinated.
We might have to do the pub crawl.
Might have to do the pub crawl. And guess what, Ricky? You're not partying with your friends this weekend. You're driving us around. And you know what? I really appreciate it. But you step out of line 1 inch, Ricky. I'm just kidding.
I'll protect you, Ricky.
Ricky, don't worry. You got my mom here.
I have my wooden spoon handy.
And I'm sure we're gonna have some more of these from down at the Caskie Lodge too. I mean, it's kind of nice that I've gone mobile here with and honestly, I couldn't have done it without Ricky. I'm not carrying all this equipment. I mean, you've seen microphones, stands.
He was a good help.
Yeah,
today.
he does what he needs to do, and I insisted.
He's very humble.
It wasn't the most efficient thing, but I insisted we drove separately, even though we were coming to the same place. I was like, no, you're driving your own car, Ricky. I drive, and so he hauled all the equipment, and I was able to just kind of relax and do my thing. That's the benefit of having an unpaid intern. And the truth is, I think he either dropped out of college a month ago or something happened, because I haven't heard from the school much lately, Ricky. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I don't even know if you're an actual intern, but thanks for sticking with it. I don't know what you're getting out of it. But
okay, well, let's get off of Ricky. Let him go and do his job.
Ricky!
Let him do his job.
So anyway, you guys got over here by the river and doing that. So what's been going on lately here? What's been happening? As far as you had the quarantine, and typically you guys would go down to Florida. I mean, it's not just a story that's just years alone. A lot of people had to say, I'm not going to Florida this year, or I'm not. Maybe retiring and doing the things I want to do. Mm-hmm. I mean, how was it kind of just hunkering down and doing the quarantine, especially when, let's just face it, you guys were high risk. You guys were high risk people, and there were some risks there. I mean, initially I was terrified. I mean, me, even as a younger, healthy person, mm-hmm. I was afraid of everything. How did that go for you guys? I mean,
well, I think it went fine this year. Like I said, we didn't have much snow, and Gary bought snowshoes. I got snowshoes, and did some snowshoeing. Not much, but we didn't have a lot of snow.
So you're finding activities to do?
Yeah, I mean, we stayed pretty busy. I was busy with real estate.
Were there other people that typically go to Florida that were here too? That you're like, oh yeah, we would normally be in Florida right now.
Lots of people. Everybody was.
I mean, you're not necessarily hanging out with them, but you might run into them here. You still got to go to the grocery store. You still got to go get your mail.
Right. But no, but we did great, and it was fine, and we have the river to look at. There's still wildlife, and it's beautiful. We have a nice fireplace here that we get to watch the fire, and it was just really, it wasn't bad.
I mean, it's a self-contained system, especially now that you guys have this generator going.
Yes, yep. We invested in a Generac last year.
Which I think everyone should do. If you can do it,
Well, it was funny because right after we got it, I would say a week, our power went out.
Oh, geez. How long?
It was out for about a couple hours.
Okay.
But
it didn't affect you at all.
It didn't affect us at all. No, it was great.
If you're in the middle of a shower and your power goes out,
right,
suds in your eye, nothing you can do there.
Right.
But that's not going to affect you guys at all. It's great.
It was fine, and it worked out good.
Very cool. Very cool. And now you guys have the vax. You're vaccinated.
We got vaccinated right away, and feel a little bit more confident.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm looking to do it. Rollsreece. I mean, people know me. I like convenience. I'm going to do the walk-in thing. I'm going to be doing that very soon, where I walk in and I'm all for that. For people that listen to this, we got to get these fast food lines shortened up. I'm sick of waiting in line. I want people to go into the restaurant more than wait in line, because I only got an hour lunch.
Right.
I don't have all day.
Right. That's right.
Lines.
But a lot of things going on up here in Sault Ste. Marie. They're putting in a new lock to accommodate larger boats.
And for those of you who don't know, this is a regional podcast, but these locks, it's so a ship can transfer from a lower level of water or higher to a lower level of water smoothly. There's no low water point.
Right. Right.
They call them locks. I would assume that's a Scottish origin. That's what it sounds like. Locks. You get through the rocks.
Isn't that salmon, lox, and cream cheese?
Hey, get your salmon and your locks. To those of you in Scotland, I apologize.
But so they're doing that. We have a lot of new businesses coming in. Everybody needs help up here. I mean, there's help wanted signs all over. I think that's through the whole country here.
Yeah.
Everybody needs help. But no, it's good. We had a record tourist season up here this winter, I guess, according to our Chamber of Commerce.
Nice.
Yeah,
and that makes sense. I mean, things are coming back. I've already been to a parade this year. If you've listened to the Trout Fest special, you're Ben, Gabe, and I having a great time, and everyone was out. And it was great to just see everyone kind of resuming life, so, I mean, we are getting there. And I mean, I will say, just in general, even the work I do at the Caskey Lodge, we're getting busier, and things are it's almost kind of like there's going to be a new, like a age, like a boom. I don't know. I mean, is there any kind of talk in the real estate world about that? Like, is there
it's
a
booming
boom?
now.
It's booming now. Okay.
It's booming now. As soon as home goes on the market, within 24 hours, they have 4 or 5 offers, and a lot of them are into bidding wars. So people are paying way over asking price just because they want a home.
Yeah.
I have a client that made an offer. He didn't even see the house. He just got tired of constantly, every home he called on, I'm sorry it has an offer. I'm sorry it has an offer. He made an offer, sight unseen, subject to inspections. Took him out there. Thank God he liked it.
Yeah.
We're doing the home inspection tomorrow on it.
Oh, nice.
But he's to a point, he just needed a place to live. We have lack of rentals up here that are available, and we have a lack of homes. We don't have a lot of subdivisions.
And
like
it's a
you guys
growing area too.
Yeah, like you guys do down,
I mean, Traverse City is just, insane.
Right.
I mean,
but we don't have those subdivisions up here. It's an old city.
yeah.
And so there are sprawl beyond the city that people are starting to build because they can't find anything. But now lumber's sky high, so it's putting a crunch on.
I mean, it's a unique area.
Yeah.
Just even the Amish. Because
yes, we have
the Amish
up here.
I mean, there was probably maybe a small community Amish, and then all of a sudden there was kind of a boom in the Amish. Hey, nothing against the Amish. Good on you.
They're good people.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they actually did a little work for you. You had Amish people working for you guys.
Yeah,
you had a boathouse here.
Yeah.
We had some lake level issues that were going on to where the
we had
lake
to
levels
take
were what?
care
I
of
mean,
that.
4 foot or 2 above normal.
Yeah.
And it took out a boathouse here. I mean,
Right.
there's just no choice. But who
Right.
came to the rescue? The
The
Amish.
Amish. And they didn't use any tools except for a crowbar and a hammer. And that was it.
No horse?
No, the horse was out in our front yard.
And the
tied
buggy
up.
was here?
The buggy, the horse. In fact, I took the horse out water, and
What was its name?
I don't know.
Yoder?
I don't know. what the name
Ah,
was.
jeez.
Yeah, but they're super nice people, and they took everything out piece by piece. It was amazing.
And did they actually keep the wood they took?
Yes, we told them they could have it. What were we going to do with it?
So they were happy to have it.
Oh,
Wow.
absolutely.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. In fact, the contractor that we hired, he hired them. He took it up to his place in Paradise because he's a trapper.
Okay. Wow.
And so he traps in the winter, and that's how he makes his living. In the summer, he's an excavator. He has an excavating company.
Okay.
But he traps in the winter. So he was going to take it and have them put this boathouse back up on his property and use it to dry his, the fur. What is it called? I'm sorry.
Pelts.
The pelts. Thank
Yeah,
you. Yes. Yeah, and use it for that.
And that's what I'm saying. That's a weird contrast, that this is a sprawling, growing area, and yet there's people out here trapping, fur trapping,
Right.
and the Amish.
I guess it's big business.
And it's weird that there's this a balance there. I mean, where you can have a modern society right next to a primitive. It doesn't matter. I mean, human
people
beings
are
find a
living
way.
up here that don't even have electricity.
Yeah.
They are living up
And they're
here.
not idiots. These aren't like these are sophisticated. They're educated.
Oh my goodness!
These aren't like your country bumpkins. Get off my land, crap like that.
No, they're not. These people are people that love the wilderness. They don't like to be in a city.
Yeah, they don't want to be boxed
They
in.
don't want to be. They like the isolation of being by themselves, and they're educated. A lot of them have a home-based business.
Yeah.
With master's degrees.
Right.
I've sold them homes.
I mean, it's not even a case where they don't have internet or electricity. They're making their own.
That's right.
If they need to send an
solar,
email, yeah, they can make it happen.
Windmills, all kinds of alternative electrical sources.
Yeah.
And a lot of these are big, beautiful homes.
Yeah.
It's amazing. But people don't realize it. When you think of the UP, I mean, a lot of people think of redneck or Upers.
A broken down shack, a one-room shack.
And we do have those too,
Hey, whatever you want to do, whatever
but
makes
they're
you happy.
all over.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all over the country.
I'd live in a shack. I'm in a janitor's closet right now. I mean, that's good enough. I mean, it's
I'm
attached
glad
to
you
the
get
Caskie
to
Lodge.
come up and sleep in a bed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've been sleeping in this cot so long. I might just sleep on the floor tonight, like a guy right out of prison.
I have a cot out in the garage if you want, if it makes you better.
You heard it first, folks. I'll be sleeping on a cot tonight.
You want me to put you out in the garage?
The Mother's Day
anything,
cot.
So you don't feel, like you're out of your realm.
I think I might have to do that. I mean,
Yeah.
do you have like a mop and a bucket I can put next to my head while I sleep?
I could probably put a couple of those.
I like those soggy smells. I can't get enough of
That
it.
Lysol.
Yeah, I got a little pine sol
Or
in there.
Spick and Span or
Spick and
whatever.
Span? Oh, that's the fancy stuff. No, I get Family Fare generic brand.
Yeah.
But,
Anyways.
I gotta just say, I do love coming up here. I mean, I've always had fun every time we come up here. And, I've definitely not always been the best son. We're not going to look for forgiveness or anything.
No.
But, I mean, through the years, as you mature and stuff, I will admit when I was in my 20s, I was kind of a rebel a little bit. Not too bad.
I think we all are rebels in our life,
But you have been an amazing mom. You've helped me. I mean, I've hitchhiked to Florida and got in some trouble down there, and you paid for my bus ticket back. And then I remember I got off the bus and my feet just smelled horrible, but I'd had these shoes on for so long. I mean, I had white feet that were just like almost rotting feet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mom, I gotta take my shoes off. And you're just like, oh God, like you were in like this Cadillac. You had this nice car. And I'm airing my feet. I'm like, I have to let these dry. They've been on for 5 days or whatever. But you've always been there for me and helped me. I had some trouble.
And I always will be.
I was between
here
jobs.
For you till I die.
Well, I was between jobs, and you helped me pay a month of rent, one time. And I really appreciate that. I mean, you're not the only person who's helped me, but you're definitely one of the main people in my life that has helped me. And on this Mother's Day, I just want to say I love you
I
and
love
really
you
appreciate
too.
you.
I love
and
you
I
too.
have a lot of respect for you too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of the main things, you
Yeah.
know, is I just got respect for you as a person
No,
and like
making me
a
almost
teacher.
cry.
You know, oh, that's all right. You know, let it all. All
Yeah.
right. This is called,
But I love
this is
you
called
too,
getting the
Ray.
gold in
And
the Rollsreece
you know,
podcast. We want the tears. No, I'm kidding.
you and Brian have always been the love of my life. I just cherish both of you. I'm so proud of both of you, what you have accomplished in life, and in the people that you have become. You make me laugh so much every time I talk to you. I just crack up.
That sounds about right.
And we always have good talk. I mean, you're so smart about so much stuff that I enjoy talking to you. And of course,
Yeah, the janitor's clause is more of an affectation.
and of course, Brian has did well. You know.
Oh yes,
For himself
yes.
out in.
I'll say this, and I want it to be known. He's one of the hardest working people I've ever met. Oh my gosh, this was unexpected, but what's been laid in front of me is a picture. Oh my gosh, of the red Farm Mall
Farm Mall, yeah.
tractor with this red. And it had plexiglass windows. It was just an amazing tractor of the old farm set in front of me. Ma, what do you think? What's your take on that?
Yeah, that's Gary on the Farm Mall, and me and the.
I loved riding in that. I think.
Sorry, I'm sucking on an ice cube right now.
Oh, that's the chaser.
Well, anyways, and that's me and the trolley, and we had a road that went around the whole ranch, and we would take people out and stop and see the buffalo. Of course, we always had a 12-pack of beer.
You
with
got that
us
right,
too.
and maybe a little nip of whiskey.
Oh, it's a little JD.
Hey,
you know?
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, you had to have.
Now,
that
what
or
year is
some
that
tequila.
tractor? Do you guys remember?
That is 19. Well, let me see.
It's definitely an old one. It's got the steering wheel where the shaft of the steering wheel goes down the side of it.
42.
A 1942.
Okay.
Okay.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
So, anyways, but Gary had that restored. There was a guy that lived in the Pickford area, Jim Batho. Bless his heart, he has passed
Jim
away.
Batho.
Yeah, he is.
All right, God
he's
bless you, Jim.
passed away. But he did this as a hobby. But you know, of course, we paid him to have it restored. He just knew tractors inside and out. He was an amazing person. And we bought
and
our.
those are the kind of people you meet when you live up here,
yeah,
left and
we
right. It's
bought
not just
all
a rare occasion.
Yeah, we bought all our hay for our buffalo from him.
Yeah.
And he would deliver it. He'd come in with these double wagons behind his great big tractor, and had his big spear on the front, and put these great big 1,000-pound bales wherever we would want them.
Yeah.
And then of course Gary, had his Kubota when we took him out to the buffalo.
I mean, you were part of the farming community.
I drove the tractor.
Yeah, you were out there.
And you know what? The funny thing is, Ray, and this is funny, when we first went to the farm, I was never a farm girl.
Okay.
And so Gary says, we got to get you some farm boots.
Yes.
And I said, okay.
Yes.
I'm thinking up here at the time, pennies, was stylish. And I thought, I'll get some nice boots that I could wear. He takes me to Tractor Supply.
That's right.
And gets me these boots. I love them. I'm on probably my 6th pair.
Waterproof. Oh, yeah. They're almost indestructible.
Right. And just love those boots. But I wore those. I wore out so many pairs of those boots just farming with him and loved it. And those were great memories. And
you guys have always been hard workers. And, I mean, that's something, I've tried to, emulate in you and the adventurous spirit. I'm not looking for, I live in a janitor's closet right now, but I'm looking to move into the woods and do something similar to that. But I can see we're coming up here on the hour, which I can't even believe it's already been an hour.
I can't either. We could go on forever.
But hey, I can't say this enough. Oh, hold on a second. We've got another freighter coming by. You always gotta. Oh yeah, it is kids out there. Let's see if these kids have any luck here. Let's see if they can get this one. That's just a testament to these freighter drivers that they will honk for any little kid who stands by the bank and does the trucker horn. All right, that was great. I mean, these guys are just amazing. I remember, one time we were out by the river here. We were on a pontoon boat. We gave them space. You're supposed to give them space,
Yes,
and
yes,
we did.
I
And they gave
remember
us
that.
a blast like that, and came out and
I
actually
think
waved.
Charity was driving.
Yep, and she is a certified boat captain from
Yes.
my
Yes, she
stepsister
is.
Charity.
Yeah,
Like to
she's
say,
certified. She's got her CSL license, or what's that license?
that's big time. I don't
Yeah.
know what it is.
I think you have yours.
I don't have that.
Oh, I
Commercial?
thought-
I want a boat license?
No, that you can drive bigger trucks.
No, I have a commercial,
Oh,
like
Okay.
a chauffeur's license.
Oh, okay.
That's what I have.
all right.
No, she's in a totally different level.
Okay.
But just the whole experience, the whole family. I love everybody, and Mom, I just can't thank you enough for being on the podcast. You have been a great guest. We're gonna do it again.
It's been fun.
I have more microphones, so maybe we can get Charity and the kids up here, and whoever wants to be on, Lee, Bart, Jackie, and all the kids. Whoever wants to be on the Rollsreece podcast, you're always welcome. We get a little salty,
Well,
but it's
we're not
really...
doing the family reunion this year, but next year.
Okay.
So it'll give everybody time to get like plane tickets and stuff, back here. So.
Okay, very good. Well, hey, once again, I love you, Mom.
I
Happy
love you,
Mother's
Ray.
Day. Thanks for being on the show.
Oh, I loved it.
Well, great.
Hi,
And we'll-
everybody out there that
Hey!
listens. I just want to say hello to all Ray's friends
She's
and family.
She's America's mom. If you have a mom, hey, you know what we're talking about.
Pass
here.
this podcast around.
Okay. Thank you, Ma. I love you.
Love
This
you.
has been another episode of the Rollsreece podcast. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week.